Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 23rd episode of the Simply Mental podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about eating disorders, as I was partnered with the National Eating Disorder Association during Eating Disorder Awareness Week to help bring awareness to eating disorders and spread education. So you may be wondering, what are eating disorders? Eating disorders are real-life threatening mental and physical illnesses with potentially fatal consequences. They involve emotions, attitudes, and behaviors surrounding weight, food, and size that severely impair functioning in major areas of life. There is no single cause, but rather a combination of biological, psychological, and sociocultural factors that converge and set off an individual's predisposed genetic vulnerability. Who do eating disorders affect? Eating disorders can affect everyone. People of all genders, ages, races, religions, ethnicities, sexual orientations, body shapes, and weights can be affected. It is estimated that 9% of the U.S. population, or 28.8 million Americans, will have an eating disorder in their lifetime. Eating disorders are biopsychosocial disorders, meaning that it is a mental illness caused or influenced by genetic, biological, or environmental and social elements. So, the biological factors could be a family history of eating disorders or other mental health conditions, history of dieting, type 1 diabetes, or genetic predisposition. Psychological factors could be perfectionism, body image, dissatisfaction, history of mental health conditions, being inflexible or difficulty going back and forth between tasks. And social factors could be weight stigma, bullying or teasing, cultural norms that overvalue appearance, drive for perceived ideal body type, or historical trauma. Next, I will be sharing 9 truths about eating disorders. Many people with eating disorders look healthy, yet may be extremely ill. Families are not to blame and can be the patient's and provider's best allies in treatment. An eating disorder diagnosis is a health crisis that disrupts personal and family functioning. Eating disorders are not choices, but serious biologically influenced illnesses. Eating disorders affect people of all genders, ages, races, ethnicities, body shapes, and weights, sexual orientations, and socioeconomic statuses. Eating disorders carry an increased risk for both suicide and medical complications. Genes and environment play important roles in the development of eating disorders. Genes alone do not predict who will develop an eating disorder, and full recovery from an eating disorder is possible with early detection and intervention are important. Here is an overview of eating disorders, the warning signs, symptoms, and health consequences. Common warning signs on the emotional or behavioral side are preoccupied with weight, shape, and appearance. Weight loss, dieting, and control of food are primary concerns. Food rituals, social withdrawal, frequent dieting or body checking, and extreme mood swings. And on the physical side, noticeable weight fluctuations, both up and down, gastrointestinal complaints, dizziness upon standing, difficulty concentrating or sleeping, and illness or issues with dental, skin, hair, and nail. Where to find help, support, and resources. For resources, you can find an eating disorder treatment provider near you. You can use the National Eating Disorder the National Eating Disorder Association to help with that. You can use the treatment search map on their website. You can find free low-cost support options, as well as on their website you can use. Here's how to help and what to do. Learn as much as possible that you can about eating disorders. Be honest and vocal about your concerns. Be caring and firm. Be a good role model, so practice what you preach. And suggest seeking help from a physician or a therapist, or both. And here's what not to do. Do not place shame, blame, or guilt. Do not make rules or promises that you cannot or will not uphold. Do not give simple solutions. Do not invalidate their experience or try to convince them otherwise. Do not give advice about weight, exercise, or appearance. Do not ignore or avoid the situation until it is severe or life-threatening. Talking about eating disorders. Make sure that you keep in mind that people may have negative reactions. Not everybody is as educated or open-minded in some aspects. And that is why it is important to spread awareness and education about eating disorders so that more people can learn about them and the true harm that it can cause on people. Taking the first step towards recovery is scary and challenging. Make sure that they get a medical checkup. Join with the part of them that wants to get well. And remind the person of why they want to get well. As I mentioned, many people struggle with eating disorders, especially in the U.S., and it is important that we are able to speak up and speak out about the harm that eating disorders truly cause on people. It is very impactful on every aspect of a person's life, and it can truly change someone's life forever. It is life-threatening, as I also mentioned. So it is important that we make sure that we can be as educated as possible. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always check out the National Eating Disorder Association's website. They have so much information. They are a good website and a good group that you can get help from. They are trustworthy. And they also have a screening tool that can help you if you may think that you may be struggling with an eating disorder. You can use this screening tool to help you to know if you should be concerned about having an eating disorder. It is not an official diagnosis, but it can help you know if this is something that you should be concerned about. Eating disorders are very challenging for people to manage, and it is something very scary that people go through. As someone who personally has struggled with eating, it is important to keep in mind that people truly do struggle with these things. And even if you may not have ever struggled with this, other people do. So just making sure that we are trying to be kind to other people and to not judge other people for their weight, their bodies, how much or how little they eat, or anything of that kind. Just making sure that we are being kind to people and treating everyone the way that we want to be treated. And I just hope that each and every one of you have learned something new today about eating disorders, and because it is something that so many people truly do struggle with. So I just am so grateful that I was able to collaborate with the National Eating Disorder Association to provide education and awareness about eating disorders. The quote for today is, "No food will ever hurt you as much as your eating disorder will." This is unknown, and as so many people struggle with, whether it may be restricting food or binging and ending up throwing that up afterwards, it is so harmful on your body, and it is very important to make sure that we are just trying to love ourselves as much as we can, and just remembering that food is our friend, not our enemy. So I hope that if any of you are struggling, that you are able to take something away from this today, and you can learn about eating disorders and get help, the help that you truly need, because it is scary to take that first step. So I just hope that all of you who may be struggling or know someone who is struggling are going to be able to be brave enough to take that first step to get help. Well, I hope the best for all of you, and thank you for listening to this episode today, and I will see you next week. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next episode.